Take you back to one of our leading stories now. Some parts of Gauteng are experiencing sporadic water supply at this hour. These include the metros of Johannesburg and Tshwane, as Rand Water continues to apply more flow control management at its reservoirs to stabilize the system. For more on this, we're joined by Rand Water spokesperson Makenosi Maroo. Very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. Some contingency measures are being put in place to avoid a complete system crash. What exactly is happening?
You will recall, good evening, you will recall that last week we implemented stage 2, which was a 30% restriction. So the restriction did not yield the desired result. So we have decided to come up with a second measure, which we are putting in place as from 8 o'clock. It has started at 8 o'clock tonight. We are applying the flow control management system. So this measure will ensure that rainwater takes full control of water supply. This means we are no longer relying on consumers to reduce the consumption. That's where we are.
Okay, so with where we are this evening, from this hour, what does it mean for residents at this hour who may be wanting to open their taps?
Remember, we as Rainwater, we supply bulk water to municipalities. So we are supplying water into different reservoirs that are managed by municipalities. So we are controlling the outflow of water into reservoirs owned by municipalities. A municipality will make a decision to decide who will get water and who will not get water at a particular time.
So how will the process work then, in terms of just really explaining it in layman's term, breaking down? Could we see some areas going without water completely while others have water, and you know, perhaps just explain the balance and how it'll work?
It simply means, yes, definitely some areas will not have water at a particular time, but we are applying the flow control from 8 o'clock up until 6 o'clock in the morning. So we know that around that time, some people will be going to bed. Obviously, they will wake up around 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, then we'll start supplying water. We are just trying to protect our reservoirs. At the moment, we are between 30 and 38%. The ideal percentage, the minimum percentage for a reservoir is 60%.
So what do you think may have exacerbated the situation when it comes to usage and consumption?
High consumption, definitely. Heat wave, I mean, people are using a lot of water around this time of the year, and also load shedding is not helping.
What are your suggestions in terms of preparation and the time frames that are being allocated, and maybe not much clarity on which areas will be affected at what times? What would you suggest for residents and households to do?
Okay, maybe let me just list a couple of municipalities that will be affected by the decision to switch off water on and off. It will be a decision of a particular municipality. These municipalities are City of Johannesburg, City of Ekurhuleni, City of Tshwane, Rand West Local Municipality, Mogale City Local Municipality, and Rustenburg Local Municipality. So what we are proposing and urging our consumers is to reduce consumption. But we are also recommending that municipalities impose water restrictions, obviously within specified times, and communicate this to their clients or their end users.
So looking at the statement that you've issued, it says the application of flow control will be applied from this evening, this hour, as you've confirmed, until the system recovers. What does that mean? When will the system recover?
We will monitor the system. It's very difficult to say exactly when it will recover, but we'll monitor and we'll communicate.
Could we see a situation where this continues well into the new week?
Ma'am, it's very difficult for me to say. As I'm indicating that we are observing and will communicate as and when we get progress report from our engineers.
The water restrictions, of course, as you make mention to some of the measures that households need to consider, you know, the weekend, the heat wave, water is essential in every single home. What do you think in terms of reduction and perhaps the other elements that need to be avoided within the household? As we close our discussion, Maroo, what would you say needs to happen in terms of a warning when it comes to using water sparingly and urging residents to perhaps view it differently in terms of usage and considerations before washing and doing other things?
Maybe I can just give water conservation saving practices where we're encouraging end users not to use sprinkler systems for watering their lawns. We're saying please do not use hose pipe to wash your cars and to clean pavements. We're just saying just take care and use water sparingly. We are also encouraging municipalities to communicate the level of reservoirs so that consumers can have an understanding of where they are and they can manage their consumption.
Should residents not be able to do that, what will it mean on the system?
It means we'll have more water restrictions because we will not risk having an empty reservoir. It takes a long time to fill up a reservoir, so we cannot afford to have empty reservoirs. It means we'll have more restrictions, more water restrictions.
What does a long time entail when it comes to filling up the reservoirs?
If, let's say, to give an example, if we have a power trip of about 10 to 15 minutes, the recovery time will be 2 to 3 hours.
Very well. Thank you so much for your time. Makenosi Maroo, who speaks for Rand Water, warning against excessive usage, saying that the application flow is being applied from this hour until the system recovers. So there's no really an answer and clarity on when the system will recover. So let's all continue to use water sparingly now.